Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle. I'm a licensed hairstylist with 20 plus years of experience. This channel is all about using those years of experience to have you have healthy, happy hair. So today's video is going to be about dry climates and how to take care of your curls in a very dry climate. We all know that humidity is the enemy of curly hair and what can happen in a humid environment. But what happens if you're like me and you live in a climate that is pretty much dry throughout the entire year? Many people experience dryness in the wintertime in other parts of the world. However, if you happen to be someone who lives in Colorado like me or Arizona where it's just basically all dry, then this video is definitely for you. So the first thing you need to remember with keeping your hair healthy in a dry climate is that your hair is going to need moisture, as it always does, whether it's in a humid environment or not in a humid environment. If you have curly hair, you have hair that's already on the driest side anyway. So you want to make sure that you are keeping your hair nice and moisturized in this dry climate. And moisture is actually water. It's not oil. What you need is water. So with any of the products you choose, the first ingredient or within the first two ingredients, it should be water listed right away to make sure that you are getting that in there. Also styling your hair when it's really wet, maybe not completely stopping dripping wet, but when it's really wet, is also going to help retain some of that moisture too, depending on the products that you put in there. And one of the other things that you need to remember is that putting moisturizing products in your hair and just piling it on is not going to work if you don't have the strength and structure that your hair needs in order to hold on to that moisture. And for that, you're also going to need products with protein. I do have a video that talks about how to keep the protein and the moisture balanced. So if you'd like to know how to do that, I will go ahead and link a card up here so that you can check that video out and learn how to do that. I have a wide variety of products in front of me that I can show you and give recommendations, a few recommendations, ones that I really like that I find help my hair stay moisturized while also retaining the strength and structure that it needs and looking good and healthy in this very dry climate. So one of the things that I typically do to keep moisture in my hair is I steam my hair. Why do I steam my hair? I steam my hair when I am refreshing it. It's typically what I do to refresh it. If I'm going to refresh it at all, I will use a steamer. I just find that I like it a lot better than completely wetting my hair down. Using a steamer can put that moisture that you need back into your hair, and then you can go back over it with something like a serum or an oil in order to seal that moisture in, because that's essentially what steam is. It's moisture and it goes into your hair. It helps to kind of fluff it up, but it's more of a controlled moisture with it using the steam. The steamer that I have, I just got at Target. It's just a closed steamer. I can use it on my hair and it's just totally fine. And I definitely recommend getting one of those and using those on your not wash days so that you can bring your hair back to life and revive your curls, but also to help infuse it with moisture, which you can then seal in with an oil after you're done. Another thing to remember with trying to keep your hair healthy and hydrated, and even your scalp in a dry climate, is shampooing. So shampooing is important for both of your scalp and your hair to keep it clean, to keep it free of buildup, so that your hair doesn't get dry from the inside out with all the buildup, which can happen because the moisture can't get into your hair to replenish that moisture. And then your scalp too needs to be cleaned because you can get buildup there with product or with your own oils, and that can block or clog your follicles, and clogging your follicles can cause hair loss, and you definitely don't want that. But at the same time, your scalp is skin just like any other skin, and if your skin tends to get dry in a dry climate, then it needs lotion to help it retain its moisture, and your scalp is no different. I would recommend not shampooing your hair any more often than you absolutely need to. And for everybody, that's going to be completely different. I definitely don't subscribe to this idea that you need to go longer than 7 days or 10 days or only once a month with shampooing. No, that all depends on your own individual hair and your scalp's needs. If you have an oilier scalp like I do, you might have to wash it more often. I tend to wash my hair a couple times a week, so like once every 3 to 5 days. So I don't like to go too long without washing my hair and my scalp to get that oil out of there. But at the same time, I don't want to completely dry out my scalp either. So I do use sulfates. I don't have a problem using sulfates. My hair is perfectly healthy. I've used sulfates and silicones for a very long time. And if you use them correctly, you're not going to have overly damaged hair from using sulfates. And there are a lot of shampoos that have sulfates in them that are gentler sulfates. The sodium lauryl sulfate is probably the harshest one that I would use more sparingly, but there are a lot of shampoos out there. If you get shampoos that are made for color treated hair, you're likely going to find a shampoo that's not very drying or stripping, because it's made to not strip color out, so it's also not going to strip that moisture out of your hair too. But anyway, I do have, so since I like to shampoo my hair like once a week with a sulfate shampoo, in between I like to use something that is a bit more moisturizing. Like I actually just tried the Amika Nice Cream Cleansing Conditioner today, and I've in the past used Ultra Nourishing Cleansing Oil Shampoo from Ouidad, and I really like this. I feel like it gives me a good, nice clean, and it doesn't do any stripping. My scalp feels great after I use this. My hair feels great after I use this, and I found the same thing to be true with this cleansing conditioner. It definitely cleansed my hair and my scalp, and my scalp was starting to feel a little bit dry and kind of itchy. And after using this, my scalp feels a whole lot better and my hair feels nicely moisturized. And I felt that this gave me enough moisture to my hair that I didn't feel like I needed to use a rinse out conditioner on top of this. I just used this by itself. I would definitely try those two out if you're looking for something. If you are somebody who needs to frequently wash your hair because of your oily scalp, or you swim a lot, or you work out a lot and you want to wash it more frequently, but you don't want to have your hair feeling stripped and dry. Okay, and so another place where you can also help your hair to retain some moisture and some protein is in the conditioning phase of your wash and styling day. And I have two conditioners that I switch off between all the time. I do try other brands and I try other conditioners along the way, but I just find that I gravitate towards these two conditioners. So one of them is the Moroccan Oil Moisture Repair Conditioner. I find that this one contains, because it's got repair in the name, that usually signifies that there's protein in there, and there definitely is. And so I alternate between that and the Ouidad Curl Quencher, which is moisturizing, more moisturizing, and does not contain all of this protein that the Moroccan oil does. So for me, I just kind of decide what my hair is feeling like after I've shampooed it. If I feel like I need more protein, I'll use the Moisture Repair. If I feel like I need more moisture, I use the Ouidad Curl Quencher. And I find that that works very well for keeping my hair in balance and to keep my hair nicely moisturized, and helps guard against the dry climate here in Colorado. Okay, so the next step then to help retain moisture in your hair would be the leave-in conditioner, or the prep phase of your styling process. And the one that I go to time and time again is Ouidad Whipped Curls Daily Conditioner and Primer. It used to have a cap. I lost it. I don't know. But I use this all the time, almost all the time. I hardly ever use anything else. I find that for me, this contains a nicely balanced amount of both protein and moisture, and keeps my hair looking really good and keeps my hair in balance. Another leave-in conditioner that I use is the Curl Leave-In Conditioner by Verb. This is also a really good one. I feel like this one is a little bit lighter than the Whipped Curls Daily Conditioner and Primer. So if you have finer hair, this is probably going to work really well for you. But both of those are really good. So you definitely want to make sure that you're choosing a leave-in conditioner that is right for you. Again, you need to pay attention to whether your hair needs to have some protein in it. or if it doesn't need as much protein or doesn't respond so well to protein, then you can definitely lean towards something that has more moisture. But never forget that you do still need some protein in order to maintain the strength and structure of your hair so that it can retain the moisture in your hair. So now that we've spoken about leave-in conditioners and keeping your hair nice and moisturized through the leave-in conditioner, then I would also look into styling products that are moisturizing. And typically styling products that are made for curly hair tend to have moisturizing properties and or protein in them kind of almost by default. A lot of other products that are not marketed for curly hair can be used on curly hair, but they don't tend to have as much of the moisturizing properties as many of the products that are made for curly hair. So at this stage where you have the leave-in conditioner and you're looking to start your styling process, you can use a humectant at this stage. You can use a humectant at the stage with the leave-in too. So something like glycerin, you have to be careful with it because in a dry environment with glycerin, it could pull moisture from your hair out into the dry environment. But if you use it early on in your styling process, it can help bind with the moisture in your hair when your hair is wet. And then if you seal it in with products used afterwards, it's going to have a nice protective barrier between that glycerin and the dryness or the humidity. You can definitely use glycerin even in dry climates, like I said. However, what matters is what you put in after your hair, after you put glycerin on your hair, and at what stage you put the glycerin in your hair. Earlier is better so that you have options to help seal it and keep it encased. So curl creams are a good go-to for hydrating because a lot of them are hydrating, not all of them. AG Recoil is not hydrating at all. In fact, it's drying because it has magnesium sulfate. So I would avoid, if you live in a very dry climate, I would avoid magnesium sulfate. I do use curl creams with magnesium sulfate on occasion here in Colorado. But I also offset it with more moisturizing products, and that's definitely something that you can do. But if you just really have a tough time with keeping your hair moisturized and hydrated to begin with, and then on top of it in a dry climate, I would definitely forego the magnesium sulfate. One curl cream that I like a lot is this Verb curl cream. I do have plenty of other curl creams and I use a lot of different curl creams. I like this one. It has protein, but it also feels moisturizing to my hair. This one actually has a little bit of a cast to it. So for some people, this can be a good one and done. For me, it just isn't because I don't ever do a one and done. But curl creams can be really good. Just pay attention to the ingredients and go with something that's more moisturizing if your hair tends to be still on the drier side. So curl creams are a good way to put some moisture in there, and if you need it to get the protein for the strength and structure. One of the other ones that I like to use is the Ouidad Curl Immersion Silky Souffle Setting Cream. I only use a very small amount of this. This is something that could get a little too heavy for fine hair, but I do find that it works really great with the Curl Immersion High Defining Custard. These two together, I get the protein in here and I get a lot of moisture in here, and the two just give me great balanced hair, and it looks nice and soft and juicy and shiny and very well hydrated even in this very dry climate. And many of Ouidad's products have glycerin in them, but I don't ever really have any problem using those products here in the dry climate because I do make sure that I do seal that in so that I'm providing a barrier between the glycerin and the climate. Another styling product that I find that gives me a lot of moisture, or my hair just feels amazingly moisturized afterwards, is the Kinky Curly Curling Custard. This one has a really hard gel cast, which I really like, and I just love the way that it makes my hair feel. It looks soft. It's, again, super juicy, defined, luscious, shiny, curly, beautiful curls. I definitely recommend something like this if you're struggling with retaining moisture in your hair, I find that this works really well. And then my last tip for when it comes to styling products and keeping moisture in your hair is to use a serum or an oil to seal all of the work that you've done to try to get moisture in your hair and keep it in your hair by sealing it in with these. And you're gonna wanna put a serum and an oil on your hair when it is dry, not when it is wet. Oil, even though this is a serum, there is a lot of oil in here. Oil and water do not mix. So putting oil on wet hair isn't going to help much of anything at all. So wait until your hair is dry and put your serum and your oil over the top of that, and that's going to just lock everything in. Again, put that barrier between any humectants that are in your hair and the climate so that the dry air is not pulling all that moisture back out of your hair. Hopefully this helped you with some tips on how to keep your hair nice and hydrated and healthy in a very dry climate. The name of the game is moisture, but definitely don't forget about that protein so that you can have strength and structure in order to keep that moisture in your hair. Maybe try using a steamer, and it keeps dripping all over me, to put moisture in your hair. Use this to refresh your curls, or even if you wake up in the morning and your curls are looking pretty good, but your hair is feeling a little bit on the dry side, go ahead and hit it with some steam. It's not going to hurt the curls. And then once your hair dries after you've steamed it, go ahead and just go over it with a serum or an oil and lock that moisture in there. And that's probably one of my biggest tips that I would say to use for anybody living in a dry climate, is to use something like that to infuse their hair with moisture on a daily basis while not overdoing it and getting it completely wet, so that you're not totally swelling the hair strands and causing the cuticles to raise and losing moisture in the process. And then on your wash days, as you were working through shampooing and conditioning and styling, pay close attention to the ingredients that your products contain. Try to go longer in between washes. Try to use shampoos that are going to also help add moisture to both your scalp and your hair. And the biggest thing that you can do for both your skin and your hair is to remain moisturized from the inside out. So make sure you're getting your water in during the day. It's incredibly important to do that as well, since you are made up of mostly water. Your hair is made up of mostly water. So keeping yourself hydrated from the inside out is definitely going to keep your skin hydrated, your nails hydrated, your hair hydrated, so that it's a lot easier to maintain that hydration with the products than you use on top of that. All right, so that is it for today for my tips helping you to maintain moisturized curls in a dry environment. I hope you found this helpful. If so, please hit that like button. If you'd like to see more content like this, then please hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and comment down below if there is anything specific that you'd like to see, if you have any questions that you'd like to ask a hairstylist, or if you just want to say hi. And make sure that you hit that notification bell so that you know when my videos upload and you can go ahead and check them out. As always, thank you for watching. Bye.